Hi there, this is Patricia Fenty from patriciafenty.com, and today I'm going to show you how you can make these lovely reusable produce bags out of old lace curtains or old lace fabric. And I'll show you how you can do this really nifty double drawstring closure. And you can use cording, or this is just some t-shirt yarn. And I'm going to give you 3 different sizes. This is a small one. It's 9 inches by 10 inches. And then there's a medium size, which is 12 inches by 12 inches. And I'll have the sizing for all of these. And this here is a long one, and it's 9 by 18. And this would be suitable for stalks of celery, green onions, cucumbers, or any sort of longer produce. Now, these are machine washable, and you can store your produce in your crisper inside these bags. And by using your own reusable produce bags, you're going to help support the environment by reducing the use of single-use plastics. So it's a fabulous idea, and I invite you on this creative journey. Let's get started. Now, here are some of the supplies that you are going to need to make these reusable produce bags. Now, I am assuming that you have some basic sewing knowledge. This is going to be sewn on a sewing machine, so you need to be able to do a straight stitch and perhaps a zigzag stitch if required. So I'm assuming that you have that basic knowledge. I'm not actually going to be sewing on screen because my sewing machine doesn't fit in my light box, but I'm assuming you have that basic knowledge. So first of all, you're going to need some lace fabric. Now, you're not going to want this rip this out of Granny's window. I got mine at a thrift store, and I was really lucky because there were some lace curtains there, but I scored this really fabulous piece of lace fabric that had never been used, and I have about 5 yards of it. So you'll find the lace fabric is generally made of some sort of polyester cotton blend. And for the most part, this type of fabric doesn't fray when you cut it. If you do have a fabric that does fray, then you're either going to have to finish it with a zigzag stitch, or you can use pinking shears. And pinking shears are the ones with a serrated edge, and they help to create a serrated edge that doesn't fray as easily as a regular straight cut edge. And so just a little bit of trivia here. My husband was asking me, what are pinking shears? Why do they call them pinking shears? What does that mean? So I had to Google it. And there wasn't anything really definite. They're not certain where the name came from, but the actual word pink goes back to the 1300s, and it originally meant pierce, stab, or to make holes in it. So it could have been derived from that. But it also might have referred to the scalloped edges of carnations, which used to be called pinks. So there's some trivia there for you. So yeah, so you'll need your fabric. So you'll need scissors and perhaps some pinking shears. And then you'll need a tape measure, or you can use a square. I like to use a square because you can actually just draw the pattern right on your fabric and then cut it out. If you don't want to do that, you can just make a pattern out of some construction paper or tissue paper. So this is the medium pattern. So my pattern is 14.5 inches by 13 inches, which is 36 centimeters by 32.5 centimeters. And then you will need some straight pins to hold your pieces together, and then some sort of cording or the t-shirt yarn. Something that doesn't fray is preferable, but just something you can pull through for your cording, and then a safety pin to pull the cording through your top casing. So, and you'll need some needle or some thread as well. So the first thing you want to do is take your fabric, and you're going to put 2 layers together. I'll just quickly fold it over like this, so you have 2 layers. and then you lay your pattern on top of that and cut out 2 pieces of your pattern. I don't have this at the exact size, but I assume you know how to do that. So go ahead and cut out 2 pieces, and I'll see you when we come back. And before you get started, there's one more thing I want to show you. I've given you the dimensions for cutting out the squares, including cutting out the bottom hem, and showing you that you're going to stitch all the way around 3 sides like that. But if you want, you can cut this out, and I'll give you the dimensions for this as one solid piece like this and eliminate the lower hem. And that will give you a little bit more strength as well. So if you want to do that, it just sort of depends on the size of your fabric, if you can cut a piece out that big. So if you want to do that, just carry on and then just follow the directions on how to do your casing on the top, and then you'll just be sewing the 2 side seams, and you'll be eliminating this bottom seam. All right, so now you have your 2 pieces of fabric cut out, or your one long one. So choosing what will be your top edge with right sides together, you're going to measure down 2.5 inches and make a little mark, and then measure in 1/2 inch, just like that, and make a mark. And then you're going to take your scissors and cut a little slit right there. Just snip that at the 1/2 inch mark. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Then keeping your right sides together, working to the inside, you're going to fold that 1/2 inch flap over, and you can pin it down and give it a really gentle press. You have to be careful with this fabric, it can melt, so make sure you use the low setting on your iron. Pin it down, and then you're going to do a top stitching. You're going to stitch this down, and you can do a straight stitch or a zigzag. I find the straight edge works better, and you work first, do 1 stitch right along the outside edge, and then bring it up closer to the inside edge. I'll show you on the next video. So do that on all 4 edges, and I'll show you what I mean when we come back. So you can see here what I mean, the 2 rows of stitching, and this gives it a nice secure finish for your drawstring edge. So again, this is working on the inside of the fabric, and once you've done that, you're going to gently press the top of your edge 1/2 inch down. And so you go ahead and do that, and then you're going to turn it over and measure down 1 inch, and this should come right to where you've cut your notch, and you can press that and pin it, and then you're going to do a nice little top stitch right along that edge there, and I'll see you when you get back. All right, so here you have both sides all done. You have your top casing all sewn in, and hopefully if you've done it right, there's an opening on each end. So now you're going to put your right sides together and line up your edges there, and then you can pin this together and pin it all the way around. And then what you're going to do is do a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around the outside edge of the bag, unless of course you're using the 1 piece. And when you start at this top edge here, what you want to do is just catch that very first top corner of your casing. Rather than starting right on the cut edge, just go up a little bit. So you might be starting at a 5/8 and then taper down to a 1/2 inch and then on the other side catch it on that side as well. So go ahead and sew all the way around, and then if you're doing the bottom seam here, do an extra row of stitching, and this will just give it a little bit more strength. And at that point, it's up to you if you want to finish it with a zigzag, or you could use pinking shears, or just leave it as is. It's totally up to you. And so then you're going to gently press your seams and turn your bag inside out. And when we come back, we're going to put in the drawstrings. All right, so your finished bag should look like this. And you have your 2 openings at the top on either side. And now we're going to put the drawstring in through the casing. So just taking the material you're using for your drawstring, you can measure the length of the bag, double it over, and then an extra 5 inches past the side of the bag. Now, I've already cut a piece here, so I'm going to use this as a gauge to cut my second piece. So I have 2 pieces that are exactly the same size. So you're going to need 2 pieces. So there we go. And then all you're going to do is use your safety pin and put that through your cording or yarn. And then you're just going to feed it through your casing, just like that. And just go all the way through, and then when you come out that side, you're just going to carry on into the other casing. And so you could just do 1 drawstring if you like. I like the idea of 2 drawstrings. It's a little more secure of a closure, so you could just do the 1 like this. So just take your pin out and even them out. There we go. And make the ends nice and even. And then all you do is you tie a little knot at the end of your drawstring. And if you're using any kind of cording that frays, all you have to do is use a little bit of fray check or glue at the end so it doesn't fray. So you could leave it like that, but we're going to carry on and put another drawstring in going in the opposite direction. And golly, this is a dull safety pin. There we go. So then you just go in from the other side and do the exact same thing. So I'll just do that. You go ahead and do that, and I'll see you when I come back. There, now I'm through the other side, and I brought it all the way through that way and back through that way. And then you just even out your ends again and just create a simple little knot like that and make it nice and snug. And then all you do is pull it together, and you've got your perfect little closure. So there you go. It's that easy. I'll just zoom out a little bit here so you can see the whole bag. It's all done. And there it is, your own little produce bag. So you could just tie it up when you have your produce in there like that. And look at how lovely that is. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe, like, and share, and leave a comment below. And I'll see you in the next tutorial.